Hello friends, and welcome to a very special episode of Making Poor Decisions, because I have the great honor of teaming up with Mandi of Mead and Derica of CitySteading, and together we're each creating something that we're calling the Triple Goddess Mead. So a few weeks ago, Mandi had this really awesome idea, and she reached out to Derica and, to my surprise, myself, because she wanted to get female mead content creators together to create something special. She had this idea in her head of creating a triple goddess mead, which the triple goddess, depending on where your origin is or which culture you're studying, can mean different things. Like in the Celtic tradition, the triple goddess is one woman who ages throughout the course of the years. Like in the spring, she is the maiden. In the summer, she is the mother, and in the fall/winter, she is the crone. There is also a Slavic goddess that's usually based around the phases of the moon. I think her name is Derica, where again, in the morning, she is the maiden. In the afternoon, she is the mother, and in the evening, she is the crone. So it is the same goddess, the same woman, just aging depending on the seasons, the phases of the moon, or even throughout the course of the day. And we really loved this idea. So again, hats off to you, Mandi, for getting us together to create this. I am so incredibly honored because I learned to make mead from you and from Derica, and it's just so cool to be able to sit across the same table from you wonderful, wonderful ladies and get to create something special. And each of us, we took a different aspect of the goddess. Mandi really loved creating flavors from like the fall and winter time of year, so she volunteered herself for the crone. Derica chose the maiden, so she's going to have something like a springy, I don't even know what she's creating, but I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. But she picked the maiden, so she's going to be the maiden type mead. And that leaves me with the mother. So I had this challenge of creating something that reflected the mother goddess. And I racked my brain for a while. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. Did I want to go with a summer fruit mead and do some type of berry, or did I want to do something earthy and something wholesome, maybe with some medicinal purposes? And I thought, why not both? So my mother mead is going to be made in primary with something called motherwort tea. You probably see this gallon sitting here. It looks like tea because it is tea. I did some research on mother herbs, found motherwort, and found it has a lot of wonderful medicinal properties. People drink this for heart health. They drink it to relax and reduce anxiety. And when I got this tea myself, I wanted to see, of course, what it tasted like, to see what I could possibly do with it. And yeah, it really relaxed me, and I kind of got sleepy, and I really enjoyed it, and that aspect of it. Now, the taste, on the other hand, somewhere between green tea and oregano. So like oregano mead doesn't really sound that tasty. So I know that I have to do something extra with this. So when I put my mother mead into secondary, I'm going to add wild blueberries and some candied lemon, because blueberries are an excellent summer fruit. And they're also really good for heart health as well. And you know, who else to better heal a broken heart than mama? So I'm going to go ahead and get started with adding my honey. My goal is to end with a semi-sweet to dry mead. It's just what I like to make, guys. I know some of you are disappointed that I don't make sweet meads. I mean, I do sometimes, but I make what I like to drink. I'm a home brewer. I drink 90% of what I make. I give some of it away as gifts. And I like to drink dry meads. So I make dry meads. And I'm going to do about maybe 2.5 pounds. This is just regular schmegular wildflower honey. Nothing special here. I didn't want a strong honey to compete with the flavors that I'm going to be putting into. So this is just pure and simple honey, wildflower. You can pick it up from a grocery store. You can get it from Amazon, Walmart, anything like that. It's just regular honey. I would like to buy local honey, so if any of you are in the Chicago area and can recommend a nice local apiary, hook a girl up, because buying local is definitely preferable. And right now I'm at like 2 pounds 5 ounces, so I just need a little bit more, I think. 2 pounds 8.5 ounces, so that's about 2.5 pounds there. So that's what I'm going to start with. And then I'm going to go in with my motherwort tea. Now the way that I brewed this tea is I put 10 teaspoons of motherwort dry tea, loose leaf tea, into a 1 gallon jug of spring water, and I let it sit out in the sun for about 24 hours. I made some sun tea with it. Now, I didn't want the flavor to be too strong, so I've brewed this a few different ways when I first got this tea, and I made it really strong, and it was really bitter. Like, it was really bitter to the point where, like, honey or simple syrup or agave syrup really didn't help the flavor. And then I made it kind of light, and it was a lot better. Again, this tea is really great for heart health. It's really great for stress relief, anxiety relief, because it relaxes you. It's a perfect tea, in my opinion, to drink right before bed. But it's not the tastiest thing in the world. And sometimes the things that are good for us don't really taste that great. And I'm just going to add a little bit more in here so I can just mix that up and incorporate it. And today I'm not going to add this just yet, but I'm using Premier, it's French, Premier Côte de Blanc. I'm sure I'm saying this incorrectly, but it's a Red Star. It's a Red Star brand yeast, and it's in the green packet. So if you're interested in what yeast I'm using, I haven't actually used this before, but figured YOLO, let's give it a shot. And I do want some acidity in primary. I will be adding some candied lemon peels to this when I put it into secondary, but I want to give it some acidity right now. So I'm going to do like 3. Do this to myself every time. Sorry guys, you're a sacrifice. I'm going to do 3 tangerine peels. I'm going to put my bung in, shake this up, and then I'm going to be right back where I'm going to add the rest of my tea and get a Greavity reading. All right, so all of my honey is incorporated. So when I mix all that up, I keep on shaking the tea and the honey together until I no longer see any honey sticking on the sides of the carboy or on the bottom. I want to make sure it's nice, well, and incorporated. So it does take a couple minutes to mix through. And those are the 2 tangerine peels that I had stuck. I forgot to take them out of my funnel. So instead of 3 tangerine peels, I'm going to make that 4 right now. One's holding on strong. Will he go in? Will he go in? Will she go in? It's a goddess mead. Whoop. Maybe not. Let's give her a second. No, she is holding on strong. Resist, sister, resist. All right, let me just add a little bit more here. I'm kind of already really frothy, but that's okay. And that's good enough. All right. Your job here is done. All right, let's get ourselves a good old-fashioned Greavity reading. See, and all my equipment, of course, you see here the bubbles. It's all been sanitized in hot water, Star San, because I don't want a moldy brew. I've yet to have a brew gold moldy, and I want to keep it that way. So, sanitize your stuff. Okay. And put this in. There we go, we have liftoff. Put that right back in there. And let's see what we have. Oh, bubbly. Bubbly. So we have a 1.06-ish. Kind of hard to tell with the bubbles. But it's roughly a maybe a 1.06. I'm going to say a 1.06. So it's a good start. I'll leave that in there. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 packet of the green Red Star yeast. I know that's not the name, but it's in French, and I don't know French, so it's the green Red Star. And I'm going to throw in some of my yeast nutrient as well. Give you one more chance to join your sisters. And my yeast nutrient, of course, is just fermento and spring water. I could never get it fully incorporated. I've heard mixed things about putting in yeast nutrient for 1 gallon batches. It might not be necessary. You should have enough nutrient in there for the yeast to thrive on, but it doesn't hurt. Now, I haven't gotten as clear of a brew since I started using yeast nutrient. It's more cloudy, which I know some of you are just going to say, use Sparkaloid, Stephanie, and I can, and I'm not against using Sparkaloid. I just don't want to. So we're going to head and cork that. Hey, she did it! 5 tangerine peels. All right, go ahead and cork that bad boy or bad girl up. And there we have it. We have the start of Mommy Mead, part of the Triple Goddess. So I can't wait to see what Mandi and Derica have up their sleeves. I'm really excited for this whole process to come together. It's just really, really cool experience. I'm going to let this ferment for a few weeks, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to put her into secondary, at which point I am going to add 1 pound of wild blueberries and, I don't know, so many ounces of candied lemon peel. I haven't quite decided, but figured blueberry and lemon go really well together. They're nice summer fruits, and they're also heart healthy. Are lemons heart healthy? Did I just make that up? I don't know, maybe. But that's all for this episode. Have a great day, friends. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate the support. Have a wonderful day. Happy brewing. LOL JK, I kind of forgot I was releasing this all in one video. So welcome to the secondary stage of Mommy Mead, where I am adding my wild blueberries that I picked myself from the local Osco, some fresh lemon peel, about half of a lemon's worth, and about half a pound of wildflower honey. Now, as you can see coming up, she ended up turning very dry at about 0.991. And while I really enjoyed the tannic aspects that the motherwort tea gave, she tastes like oregano. Like, there's no way around it. So I needed some sweetness to balance that out. I wanted the freshness of the blueberries, a little bit of the sweetness of the blueberries, as well as the brightness from the lemon peel to hopefully bring her to life, which, as you can see coming up, I really, really think worked. And it's bottling day. So when I first took my initial Greavity reading for Mommy Mead, I was at a 1.06 starting Greavity. Now, I started with, I think, only about 2 pounds of wildflower honey. When I tasted it as I was putting it into secondary, as I was adding the blueberries and my lemon peel, I added a little bit more honey because it was a little bit too dry. It went down to a 0.991, which is putting it at an approximate ABV of about 9%. So I just tested off camera the Greavity reading again, and it's back up to my original Greavity of 1.06. Now, I had this aging, oh gosh, about 6 months or so. I think I put this into secondary sometime around June. Today is December 4th. It's been a busy summer, guys. So I don't really know what that does to the overall Greavity. I'm sure some of you in the comments would be like, oh, actually it's probably now about a blah, blah, blah. I think I added about an additional half pound of honey when I put this into secondary. I just wanted it to be a little bit sweeter. I'm not typically a sweet mead drinker. I always like my meads to go dry, but I don't know, I just felt with blueberry and tea and lemon. It was just calling for some additional sweetness. Now on the nose, right away I get blueberry. As I said, it's been aging for about 6 months, so the alcohol smell isn't that prominent. The clarity, it's not the clearest mead I've ever made, but it's pretty. It's a really nice garnet color. The lemon peel got lost, which is actually a surprise, because I remember giving her the old sniff test every couple of months as she was aging, and the lemon peel was like, bam, like in my face. I'm like, oh, this is just going to taste like lemonade. And now, like maybe a hint of citrus, but it's not that bad. I don't get any more hints of the motherwort, which is probably a good thing. It just plain old motherwort tea tastes like drinking oregano juice. It has really great health benefits. It's a really great tea to drink for your cardiac health and to get you to relax and get ready for bed. It's like the perfect cup of tea before bed, but it doesn't taste the best. All those health benefits, I'm sure, are canceled out by the alcohol, and I've been talking about this mead a long time. So let's go ahead and give her a taste. Ooh, she's sweet. Sweet for me. Other people would taste this and be like, oh, this is a semi-sweet to a dry. But I can't say this enough. I do not like overly sweet meads, which is very, very unpopular in the mead community. Most of my meads, in fact, end up tasting like whiskey, which is perfect for me because I like whiskey, and distilling is illegal in Illinois. But that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna taste this again. Good tannins. The click sounds. Okay. That tannin click. Very blueberry. Honey comes in at the end. Yeah, that citrus, that lemon peel is lost a little bit. Let me just taste one more time. There's the acidity of it is there, but it's a very fine blueberry mead. Really happy with it. Not mad at it. Now let me get this wrapped into my big old bucket so I know how much liquid I have, how many bottles I'm going to have. And I'm actually doing a different type of bottling system today than I normally do. So I'll be right back with that system. So I ended up with about 112 fluid ounces of mead, which is absolutely great. Now, what I used to use primarily when I bottled my mead were these 32 to 33 ounce swing top bottles. I'm changing it up a little bit for my next few batches, and I'm changing it to these 12 ounce beer bottles that I'm going to have to cap myself. And I'm doing this for a few reasons. Number one, these gaskets, after a while, they leak. They're not always perfect. 32 or 33 ounce bottles of mead are great when you're sharing with a bunch of people, but I'm an introvert that likes to stay inside, and I do want to take care of myself as I'm pushing 40 years old. So I'm going to switch to a smaller bottle, and I'm switching to the cap because I'm trying to enter more mead competitions in 2023. And didn't realize this, but a lot of them poo-poo the swing tops for a multitude of reasons. Number one, it's easier to ship with the cap on it. And as I mentioned before, these swing caps aren't always the most airtight. So I am going to keep one large bottle for myself and my friends. But, oh, spill a little bit out for the angel Salerno. But I'm going to go ahead and fill up this bottle here, and I'm going to leave this age for about a year because it's been aging now for about 6 months, and it is delicious. But I want to have a couple bottles, just smaller amounts, just to try throughout the course of the year. And if I did want to send this off for a competition, I have the right size. Okay, so I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 12-ounce bottles. One big boy, one 33-ounce bottle that I'm going to try and let age for about a year. I'm just going to test this real quick. Yeah, it seems airtight now, but unfortunately I ran into some issues with these bottles over the past few months, and broke my heart to taste some mead that's been oxidized, and it's just been unfortunate. So what I did was I capped these in traditional beer bottle, and the way I did that was I sanitized everything with my hot water and Star San fluid. You put your cap right on your bottle, you grab your Zoidberg, and you just kind of make sure it's all still down, and the noise is important. There we go. Nice airtight. A little bit, I'm actually going to wax seal these well, just to make sure, wax seal these as well, just to make sure that I don't have any oxygen getting in or out of this bottle. So that's a pretty decent yield, and this was a really, really good mead. And the more I drank it, because I do have some left there in my little Glencairn glass, the more I taste it, the more citrus comes out. To me, it's still very blueberry forward with a nice hint of citrus and honey aftertaste. As I mentioned, that motherwort tea is completely gone, the flavor is gone, but the tannins left over from it are there. It's a really nice mead, and it's not overly sweet. Anyone else who really enjoys mead would probably taste this and say, yeah, no, this is still dry. For me, it's sweet. So I'm happy with it. So excited to see what Mandi and Derica create as well. Hoping that I could actually taste theirs eventually at some point too, but that's it for this video. This is the mother, or Mommy Mead as I have been calling her, my blueberry lemon motherwort mead, and this is definitely a recipe I will be doing again in the future. It's absolutely delicious. Maybe next time I might try carbonating it. It's so refreshing. It's a really refreshing mead. It's not heavy at all. So carbonation might be my next venture with this. If I was ever to do it again, that would be the one thing I do different. So sitting somewhere around a 9 to 10% ABV, which again I'm very, very happy with. For a while I've been making very, very strong meads, anywhere from 15 to 21%. And while they're tasty, the alcohol just like smacks you in the face, and it takes a long time for them to age out to be anywhere near drinkable. This is drinkable right now after about 6 months of aging. So I would definitely recommend trying it if you want to try it at home. Definitely one of my favorites. So thanks so much for watching. I hope to have some more projects coming out soon. Happy brewing, everybody.